Hi, everybody. Welcome to a full asynchronous virtual experience. I hope that this winds up being your fave or favorite professional development that you ever have in your career. So it is, before I say anything else, it is a work in progress all the time. If you are joining this course early, you'll probably see a lot of changes take place as I kind of respond to feedback and figure out the best way to deliver this content. And if you've joined it several years on, it might have reached a point where it's perfected, right? Okay. So, FAVE stands for Full Asynchronous and Virtual Experience. So it is full because I'm trying to cover just about every aspect of regular AP Physics high school courses, right? Um, there are, we're advertising this to people who also teach on-ramps, which is a University of Texas program, and maybe international baccalaureate. So as of right now, I'm really developing the AP side of it, and then I'm going to develop the regular part of it, like regular on-level high school physics, and then I'm going to try and investigate. I've never taught international baccalaureate or on ramps, but it's not that difficult to find out what they're all about and see what I can do to help those kind of teachers. Asynchronous, right? We know what asynchronous means. It means that there's no uh, calendar items. You don't have to be in a specific place at a specific time. This is all supposed to be super convenient for you. Virtual, again, we know that what that means. It's all through the computer. We're not meeting with other people personally. I do know that me being in the same room with other teachers is powerful in terms of camaraderie and sharing ideas more effectively. You can get that from an in-person AP Summer Institute. If you teach AP Physics, I would encourage you to try to go to the in-person ones rather than the virtual ones. But this is asynchronous and virtual because that means that I can get more people to participate, which is really what I want. I want to help the most people I can without their schools or them having to worry about lodging, meals, those kind of things that might involve if you're in an in-person type session, right? Okay, here's my goals for any PD I cover. I want you, the participant, you, the teacher who's participating, to become more effective. That means you have better student outcomes in terms of student learning. More efficient. That means you get better outcomes for the same input of effort, or even better outcomes for less input of effort, right? So more efficient, more outcomes per effort, basically. Better outcomes per effort is what I'm looking for. And then I want to make you more marketable, okay? Sometimes you think you have your dream job, and then things change. New admin comes in, or your student population changes, whatever it is, and it's not your dream job anymore, and it's time to get a new one. Well, if you're really good at teaching physics, you can just basically walk in anywhere where there's a physics opening. And the last few times I had interviewed, they just wanted me to tell them if my teaching license was up to date. Like, it was pretty much just that. So I would love that for you also. Okay, here's the scope of the two courses. This video is going to be posted to both. So for the semester one course, there's going to be modules for what is called regular high school physics, and that's going to be a couple of units where kinematics and forces are side by side, first qualitatively, then quantitatively, and then a two-dimensional motion unit, a circular motion unit, and an energy unit and a momentum unit. And that's all I do for regular high school physics. For AP Physics 1, and I am going to admit to you that AP Physics 1 is going to be the modules I put the most effort into, and I will tell you why. I do 4 units that are kinematics and forces side by side, and vectors and projectile motion and forces in 2D. That all up to this comma right here is my first 4 units. My 5th unit is circular motion. My 6th unit is energy. My 7th unit is momentum. And then units 8 and 9 are rotational dynamics and kinematics, and then rotational energy and angular momentum. Simple harmonic motion is unit 10, and then fluid dynamics is unit 11. I think that I I counted that correctly. And then AP Physics C Mechanics is going to be all that stuff, but not fluid dynamics, but including calculus. And so here's what I'm going to tell you. If you teach honors high school physics, then what I'm going to ask you to do is kind of peruse the regular and AP Physics 1 stuff and kind of put together from those materials what's going to be best for your honors students, okay, your honors physics students or pre-AP or whatever you want to call it. Now, I'm going to say something else, and that is that my AP Physics 1 curriculum assumes that the students have no prior knowledge of physics. They have no formal physics, and they're coming into AP Physics 1. That's just how we do it in my area. That's how we've done it in the last 4 schools I've taught in out of 5. Just the way it is. And I'm finishing year 20. I just finished year 20. This is the beginning of summer break for me. This is actually the night before I'm starting this course is me recording this video. So any case, so I'm going to say this. Now, if you teach AP Physics C Mechanics to students who had an honors or regular or no physics experience at all, or it's they're seniors but they had physics as freshmen because you do a physics first type curriculum, then I'm going to strongly encourage you to draw heavily from the AP Physics 1 stuff and then do the mechanics stuff, okay? So for example, if I was doing Physics C Mechanics as a full year course to students who had no other physics background or not enough physics background to really count as any, I would probably do the entire first semester before Christmas, AP Physics 1, not fluid dynamics, and then do it again, but with the calculus type stuff added on, okay? If I was doing honors, I would pull from some of my regular stuff and some of my AP Physics 1 stuff to make the appropriate stuff for honors. So the reason that these courses are all stuck together into the same full asynchronous virtual experience is to make it easy for participants to grab what's best for their students. Okay, so maybe you teach AP Physics 1 after honors physics. Well, that might mean that you need to draw some from AP Physics C Mechanics to spice it up and to extend, to do extensions, you know what I mean, and keep the students engaged. So all this is available. I don't price it out separately. You have access to all of it for semester 1 physics, right? Same for semester 2. So for regular high school physics, I do electric circuits before I do electrostatics and magnetism. I do electrostatics and magnetism together because otherwise they'd be 2 little tiny units. Then mechanical waves and then optics. All right. We do some modern topics in physics here in Texas, but I mean, not enough to really list as a separate comma item. And then again, AP Physics 2 is where I'm going to be putting most of my effort because the regular honors high school teachers may want to draw from some of this AP Physics 2 stuff. And then the people who teach EMAG, that should say Physics C, electricity and magnetism. Sorry. Okay, electricity and magnetism. Okay, yeah, that's a typo. And then you're going to find typos sometimes. I'm going to ask you to help me find them, okay, and report them to me, okay. So what I do in Physics C, just so you know, and I'll talk more about this later in this particular course, is most of my students in Physics C are seniors, and they took AP Physics 1 as their first course in physics as juniors. So my Physics C students are expected to do mechanics and EMAG, but they didn't ever take Physics 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach them Physics 2 level electric circuits, then electrostatics, then magnetism. Then we're going to go back to Physics C, Physics C Mechanics, and we're going to do this for about, I would say, these 3 things for about 10 weeks, and then all this stuff for about 12 weeks, and then we're going to try and do all this stuff, including now introducing capacitors into electric circuits, pretty much up until the AP exam day. It's hard to cram it all in and get it done before the actual AP exam day. Like before AP exam week starts, it's very difficult for me to do. But I call it the sandwich method, and so you'll see more about that if you're in the semester 2 course. Okay, so let's talk about Google Classroom. So in Google Classroom, there are two types of items that you're going to see. You're going to see what's called an assignment. You're going to see what's called a material. So an assignment is something where you can submit some kind of evidence of having engaged in it, and you can earn points toward your completion certificate. Material is just going to be stuff that I am giving you, but there's no action required on your part. Okay. And the key is you need to do what you need to do to meet your needs. So once you get into the course, and once the course is completely built out, and there's a chance that you might get in the course before it's completely built out, and in which case you're going to see me updating it as I come up with ideas and items and things like that. It's going to be hundreds of hours of content, okay? And you have access to all of it, and you're going to have access to all of it until either you die or I die, okay? Somebody's going to die, and that's going to be the end of your course participation. So we're talking about potentially decades here, okay? Like, I'm not even joking. But I want you to treat it like it's a buffet, okay? So if you want the 30-hour certificate, awesome. Do 300 points of whatever the devil you want, and then once you get your certificate, I'm not booting you out of the class. You just do other stuff. I mean, you can turn it in or not for all I care. I mean, it doesn't matter. You've already got your certificate. So here's what it looks like from my end. I'm not entirely sure what it looks like from the student end, but this icon with the 3 lines, that's an assignment. That's something that you can that you can turn in for points. Okay. Whereas if it doesn't have the lines, if it has a little ribbon, then that's just a material, okay? So you can see that I haven't fully built out regular yet, okay? I haven't fully built out regular. So R stands for regular, P1 stands for Physics 1, C stands for Physics C, which will be down here somewhere. Okay, where's C? Yeah, okay, there's C. And then in the semester 2 course, it'll be P2 for AP Physics 2, R for regular, and again, C. I don't call it CM or CE, I just call it C because I teach both semesters of C. Okay, so the key is we want you to do whatever you need to do to meet your needs. Okay, so don't be here and be like, oh my gosh, there's like 1,000 hours of content. How am I ever going to do that? You're going to do what's best for you. There are going to be some brand new teachers to AP Physics who need to be led by the nose through every single content item. I am here for you if that's you. But there are going to be a lot of people who have taught for years, and they just need, like, hey, I just need more hands-on activities for rotation, or I just want or more hands-on or more performance-based assessments. And those are the two things I really bring to the table, are lots of hands-on activities and performance-based assessments. Those are things that teachers continuously tell me they really struggle with. Okay, so so you're going to see me bringing that to the table, and that's what's going to get the veteran teachers here. So they're going to want to see that kind of stuff. Okay, so do it, meet your needs. Okay, all assignments are going to be marked as being worth 10 points. 10 points is like worth an hour, and I apologize in advance. I'm going to tell you the truth. Every one of these items takes more than an hour. I'm sorry, live with it, okay? If you upload yourself, like if it's a notes item and you upload yourself doing the notes, or if it's an activity or a lab and it's you, then I'll give you 5 points. If you want to earn all 10 points, I want you to give me 3 authentic student samples. Okay, that's the students doing the thing, right? Okay, so if I see 3 sets of student writing notes, I'm giving you 10 points. But if it's just one set and it's you, I'm giving you 5 points, right? And again, the idea is to reward you for trying these things out with students. If you upload anything that's student work, it would be appreciated if you could put a little sticky note over their name before you take a picture with your phone, which I'm fine with. Just take a picture of your phone of each page and upload them. Or even better, it would be better if you could load each page into like a PDF, or load each page into a Google Doc and then output it as a PDF. That would be amazing if you could do that. That is so much faster and easier to grade, and it takes up less space. If you don't cover up the names, we're just going to keep them confidential. There's no reason for me to spread your students' names around. I'm the only other person who's going to see it. I'm not going to use them as samples for other people. I mean, unless it's like some phenomenal work, in which case I'll ask you and I'll blank out the student's name myself. I'll take care of that. Okay, I want you to be cognizant of the due dates here. All the due dates in the semester one course were set to January 1st, which is 5 months before the course started. And in the semester two course, I believe they're all set to June 1st, which is 3 months before the course started. So this is deliberate. I am forcing all participants to submit all items late. Now, I know that y'all are teachers, and I know that submitting something late makes the hair on the back of your head stand, but there's a reason for it. This is purposely set in the past because in Google Classroom, when an assignment is turned in late, it triggers an email to me. Now, if an assignment is on time, it doesn't trigger that email to me. But remember how this course is structured. There could be 1 week where only one person submits something, and there could be another week where nobody submits anything, and then there could be another week where I have 20 submissions, 5 of which are from one person and 15 are from 15 different participants, right? Okay. So the thing is that these emails are going to form a to-do list for me to go and offer feedback. Does that make sense? Okay. So please don't feel like there's if the course exists, it's not late. Okay, if the course still exists, it's not late. And if for some reason the courses are going to end, I'll give you maybe a year's notice. Okay, the only reason that the courses would end is if all of my gift boxes and the pile of gift boxes are right next to me right now. If all the gift boxes have been given away and I get all my debts paid off, which is a lot because me and my family members have a lot of health issues that we have to go through, and then I would just make all the course material like open to the internet for everybody, right? Okay, so it's not like you would lose access. It's just that the rest of the world would gain access for free, right? Okay, so please don't look at the due date and think anything of it. That's why the due dates are the way that they are. If you don't get feedback from me within a week, you are welcome to shoot me an email and say, hey, can you make sure you look at my submission? If you don't shoot me an email, I'll probably go through all the submissions maybe once every couple of weeks, possibly once a month. It depends on what time of year it is. This is a part where I'm going to remind you that I do have 5 kids. We're not going to have any more kids than that. I'm not going to explain to you how I know that that's the case for sure, but I know for sure I'm not having any more kids after this 5th one. He's 2 years old right now. He's about to turn 3 in a few months, and I'm a teacher just like you, and you know how busy you are, and if you teach AP, you know how busy you're going to be. Well, imagine that's me also, but I'm also trying to create all this content and support you all, right? Okay, it just happens that way. Okay, so here I have a form called I'm Finished, and the I'm Finished form is when you think you've reached 300 points. Now, I am going to have a spreadsheet that is going to track the points as I give them, and it's going to light up your name when you reach 300 points. And that's going to tell me that I need to go ahead and give you a certificate. But the date of the certificate is going to be the day on which I notice that you reach 300 points, which could be weeks or months after you reach 300 points. The I'm Finished form makes it, and it's very simple. You just give me your name as you want it to appear on your certificate, select semester 1 or 2, whichever one it is, and then whatever day it's timestamped that you submit the form is the date that's going to appear on your certificate, unless you want me to make it another date. Okay, so if I need to backdate it or forward date it or whatever it is so that you get in what you need for your school, I'm willing to work with you. Okay, and then if you think you got all 30 hours, put 30 here. There's some participants who might need only 18 hours and they just do 180 points and request a certificate. Just tell me what you think you're earning, and if I think it's different, then I'll reach out to you and we'll work it out. And it's possible that maybe I forgot or missed one of your submissions or something like that. That can happen. There's a lot of people. Okay, if you don't get a response from me in a week, email me. It's supposed to send me an email every time there's a reply. So there's this add-on called form notifications, but it doesn't seem to be working. It just shows me the help. And then email notifications for Google Forms does the same thing. So I don't know if I'm going to get these emails. So if I don't get an automatically generated email when you do the I'm finished form, reach out to me and make sure. And I may be finding out that form response thing doesn't work. If you want to ask questions, you can email me at john.frensley@gmail.com. If you have any questions, please be specific as possible. Hey, this is for the semester 1 course. It's notes P1-02-02, and it's on page 7. Can you tell me about halfway through the page, whatever, like the more specific, the better. Okay. Also, there's this stream here, and you are more than welcome to, where is it? You're more than welcome to post in the stream. You should be allowed to do that. Let me just double check that students are able, which is what you are in this. Okay, so students can post and comment. So you're welcome to post and comment anything you want in this stream. Everyone will get to see it. I do not get a notification, so I will not know to come and look for it, except for maybe the once a week or maybe once every couple of weeks that I come examine these courses and kind of fix it up, right? Okay. So if you want to ask everybody a question or share a resource with everybody, good Lord, I would love it for you to share a resource. That would make me so happy. If you could add to my course, that would just make me so thrilled. And if your resource is good enough, I'll link it as something new under the classwork tab. You can ask me. You say, hey, I have this thing. Can you put it in your appendix or whatever? I might be happy to do it. Okay, let's see what else. You can text me. I'll go ahead and say my phone number right now. It is 972-898-6623. If you do, please say, hey, it's Fred Jones or whatever. I'll recognize your name because I recognize everybody's names that's been in my professional development sessions. And then ask your question, be specific, and then hopefully I'll get back to you within 48 hours. If not, please pester me again. Don't consider that rude. But once again, 5 kids and a teaching career and doing this and private tutoring. So it's easy for things to get lost in the cracks. You know what I mean? So that's all I have to say about that. Let's see, what else do I want to say? Oh, before I get to how you use the content, let me just talk to you a little bit more about the structure here. So every unit is going to have a unit overview, and in the unit, I haven't written one yet here. I'm going to have some notes here about like how I use the how I do stuff in this particular unit. Why is this particular unit where it is? Okay, what are the goals of this unit? Why are we doing this now? Okay, how does it fit into the bigger picture is what the notes are going to be, and probably a video where I kind of explain the same stuff. Okay, so text and video, that's the unit overview. There'll also be a link to a zip file, and one single zip file is going to contain all the documents for the entire unit. So you look at all these items right here for unit P101, Newton's first law. Well, these are going to have videos linked to them, but they're not going to have individual files linked to them. I think that that's too cumbersome. So instead, you're going to look here and it'll have a P101-01.zip file. And so I have a P101.zip file right here. It's going to be linked right here, okay, where you can see it. And then each unit will have the same thing. But then under that, what you're going to see is homework. My homework is through WebAssign. I'll talk a little bit about the homework assignments in the video, but I'm just going to tell you right now that I'm trying to come up with better homework. I'm just going to tell you the God's honest truth right now. I'm trying to come up with better homework, and that's going to be pretty far in the future, maybe a year or two before I make better homework. I'm just going to tell you right there. The labs and activities, I think what's going to happen is that each lab and activity is going to have its own folder, and some of the labs may have student samples, okay? All I have to do, I have a ton of student samples, and I might explain why that is later. But if I can delete their names and their identifying information, then I'm going to try and choose good 100 top scholarship earning student samples, not anything mediocre or crappy. Does that make sense? Only the really good stuff, okay, for student samples. So that's one of my goals, is for each of these labs to have not just a scoring rubric, but also some student samples, okay? So that's probably what this is going to look like, is individual folders, one for each lab and activity. just so you know, a lab, and I'm going to explain this in another video, is something that goes like in a lab notebook, or it could have a formal like Google Doc typed up for it. An activity is something that the students do directly just on the handout. Usually activities involve taking a single set of data and making calculations and predictions based on it, whereas a lab involves multiple trials, linearization, graphs, things like that. If there's a graph involved, it usually gets to be a lab. An activity is a smaller. They're both hands-on, but activities are smaller than labs. That's what that means. You're going to get. I mean, so many people told me this is why they're taking this course. They just want access to these lesson slides, so here they are. So each unit's going to have the lesson slides. You'll see. I make everything in old style PowerPoint, like old 2003 PowerPoint.ppt, and then I try to turn it into a PPTX. And then you have the GIFs. You have the animated GIFs that everybody wants so badly. Okay, so all the graphics that appear in the PowerPoints are also standalone files. Um, okay, so all good. The notes and my answers, but you'll also see videos of me working out the notes. You can read the notes answers if you want, but I'm just going to tell you that if it's a set of notes that you are really trying to improve on, like, hey, I really want to teach representing motion better. Every time I do it, it's near the beginning of the year, and it's just drier than the Sahara Desert or whatever, right? And it just doesn't work. Then you can see what I do in the video and just maybe play it on 1.5 speed and just wait until you hear me say something that like piques your interest, like, hey, that's something I want to say, or that's something I want to do. Performance-based assessments for each unit. I'll probably make these their own folders. So speed of sound will be its own folder, and trip to school will be its own folder. And then each of those will have their own videos. Okay, where again I'm going to kind of explain like how I roll it out and all that kind of thing. Okay, I know what I'm missing from this folder. What I'm missing is a sample calendar, and so I have kept my calendars for the last 5 years, and I am not entirely sure which year I'm going to draw from. It's probably got to be within the last 2 years because it's got to include fluids. But the last 2 years for me have involved a lot of snow days also, and that's really thrown me off my calendar. So I'm going to include kind of, because that's what a lot of people want, is they want to say, hey, like, what do you do each day? I'm on a block schedule, so I see each student every other day, 90 minutes. So just be aware of that. You'll see that on the calendar. And then approximately when do you end each unit? I get that a lot. So there's going to be a folder for the calendar also. Practice test, real test. I'm going to have a module on how I do testing. There's going to be an appendix right here. And I'll make a video for how to do tests and remediation. And I really should rename these how I do labs and activities. Not telling you how to do anything. You can do whatever you want. It's your classroom, right? You're the expert at teaching these students, okay? Understand that first and foremost. You are the chief expert at teaching physics to your student population. I can give you ideas on how to teach physics, but that doesn't mean I understand your student population, okay? No one says I could come into your classroom and teach physics better than you can, because I don't know your students like you do. I might know the physics, but I don't necessarily know your students. Do you understand the difference? So I think I'm going to change this to say how I do labs and activities, how I do homework, how I do tests and remediation. And then the appendix is just going to contain just all kind of information that kind of cuts across the entire year. I think I want to change these to assignments. So this comes from the old virtual course called Writing Assessment Items, where I would challenge you took this course, and I would challenge you to write different items that were each of these different types of multiple choice and each of these different types of free response. I think I'm going to do the same thing again. I think I'm going to make each one probably worth 5 points for multiple choice and 10 points for a free response type. And so these will probably, by the time you get here, these will probably be an assignment dated January 1st, 2026, for each of these types, and they'll have a video that's like, hey, here's what it means, here's what each of these question types means. They'll probably have some strategies for attacking each question. You're more than welcome to share those videos with your students, right? And then also gain points by writing those items, right? And so, okay, so I think that leads us to this part, which is rules for using this content. The things I don't want you to do is really short, and the things I do want you to do, or feel free to do, is pretty long. So let's just get the don'ts out of the way. Really, the only don't is please don't take large chunks of these of what I've given you and post it on the open internet. Obviously, if you're doing this stuff with students, then you're posting it on your LMS. You're posting it on your Google Classroom, your Edpuzzle, your Canvas, whatever it is, Snorkel. Fine. Obvious, please, okay? If you're, hey, I'm going to use all 11 sets of your notes. Well, that's a large chunk of the course content, but you're not posting it on the open internet. You're posting it for your students, okay? But if you have your own website, or you're on like Facebook and someone's like, hey, I need notes for AP Physics 1, and you're like, okay, well, here's 11 units worth of notes that I got from, like, I'm not going to mention John Frensley's name or whatever. Well, that would preclude somebody from maybe taking this course. And this is a business after all, right? I'm trying to pay off some debts with this, right? So, and I don't believe in teachers pay teachers. I know some of y'all paid out of your own pocket, but let me tell you something. If your school's willing to pay me, I will jump through every hoop and do every purchase order possible. So I'm getting your, I don't believe in teachers pay teachers. I believe in your school paying me. That's what I believe in. So if you're sharing so much that somebody maybe doesn't need to take this course that you're taking and send me a payment in order to get the benefit, then it's too much, okay? You can always refer people to me. Say, hey, here's this guy, john.frensley@gmail.com. Just reach out to him and say, hey, explain your situation to him and see what he's willing to give you. Because I mean, I also give away things for free. A lot of y'all have almost all of you, probably all of you who are in this course, have gotten something from me for free, right? And I'm fine with that. But anyway, here's the deal. Now, let's say you're on Facebook, or you're on Pretty Good Physics, or the AP Physics community that's part of AP Classroom, like your My AP login, and someone's like, yeah, I'm really struggling with angular momentum. Does anybody have anything hands-on for angular momentum? And you're like, well, I know that John Frensley has an angular momentum video. Please don't wait for me to respond to this person, because I'm not gonna, okay? I don't visit these communities that often, so you're doing me a favor if you're like, hey, here's this guy, John Frensley, here's his email address, here's a video from YouTube that is, all the videos on YouTube are accessible, but they're unlisted. So if you put the link, other people can see it. It's part of a virtual PD course I'm taking. If you ask him about it, he'd love to tell you about it. But here's how he does angular momentum, right? So posting one or two, remember, there's over 300 videos for these two things. So if one of these gets posted every week, it's going to be 6 or 7 years before the entire content is strewn about in different places on the internet, difficult to find for one person, right? So you're actually doing me a favor by teasing people with a little bit of the content of this course, okay? You're giving me free advertising, okay? Let's see. Please feel free to post individual student or teacher-facing documents that may accompany the YouTube video. Hey, here's Frensley's lab for angular momentum, and here's his student and teacher-facing documents for it, right? Okay. Please feel free to link students to the YouTube videos. However, be warned, they are not meant for students to see. They are not G-rated at all. Some of them actually have some high-level swear words in them. So you better know what you're signing up for when you link students to the YouTube videos. The slides are G-rated, but the videos ain't gonna be, okay? So you have been warned. You have been warned. Okay. Please feel free to modify all the stuff that you see. Make the stuff more your own. I would appreciate it if it winds up on the open internet, that maybe I can get some credit. Hey, this takes some animations from John Frensley, his website. Okay, on the open internet, let's not put my email address on the open internet, but my website, you can see it there in the corner, www Phinephysics.com. If you want to reach out to Friendly there, he has a contact form, that kind of thing. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, this is important. You will have the ability to remove my name from things. However, I have had this happen in the past where I have had, first of all, I've had teachers just say, hey, here's how you can get a hold of this guy, John Friendly, if you want some private tutoring from him. If you do, mention me, mention that I referred him to you. Please make sure that. And then, and by the way, I'll say the by the way in a moment. But I have had students do this where it's like, hey, can you tell me, this is me, hey, can you tell me who referred you to me? And I'm saying the side of the student of the parent, and the parent's like, well, we saw your name on the notes that they're using for Mr. Fredericks or whatever, right? And so I looked you up on the internet and found your website and reached out to you. And so what I would do is go find who Mr. Fredericks is and say, hey, Mr. Fredericks, I met with Paul 10 times this year. I'd like to pay you a $5 referral bonus for each meeting, which is $50. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that some of these referral bonuses have added up to humongous paydays for teachers. Okay, I don't pay referral bonuses when a parent refers me. I only do this for teachers, okay, because you and I know how little you make and how much a windfall $200 or $300 extra could be at the end of the year when I'm like, hey, you know what? I've had 6 students referred to me from you, and it's a grand total of 60 meetings at $5 a meeting. That's $300 I'd like to send you. Can I PayPal or Venmo you? So you can take my name off of things, but if you don't, and your students reach out to me and they say, hey, Mr. Fredericks, I saw it on the notes that he uses, I count that as a referral bonus. Also, if you refer people to me, I probably need to add this to my registration form for these courses. If you refer someone to these courses, I think I should pay you a referral bonus also. And I'm thinking it's got to be at least $50. It may be more than that. I might change my mind and make it more than that, but I'd say at least 50. So if you refer people to my course, I think I'm going to add to the registration form a place that says, did another teacher refer you? If so, can you tell me the name of the teacher? And then I'm going to reach out to you and say, hey, can I kick some money back to you? Okay. Hey, that's capitalism in my opinion. Okay. Well, thanks for listening. I hope that this video wasn't too long. I hope it was entertaining. I hope all my videos are entertaining. But if you have any questions, let me know. But I hope that you find out that really all I want to do is support you and not really have a lot of rules about things other than I just want to do what's best for you. That's my attitude with my students. I just want to do what's best for you. That's my attitude with folks that participate in my PDs. I want to do what's best for you. And my private tutoring, I just want to do what's best for you. So, so if you're afraid you're going to cross a line, just email me. But I'll bet you 95% I'm going to say, yeah, go ahead and do it. I've had teachers say, hey, I have this lab of yours and I want to present it at this conference. And I'm like, cool, just say it was inspired by John Friendly. Don't even say it's John Friendly's lab. Just say, hey, this is inspired by something I saw from John Friendly. Here's his website in case you want to find out more about what he does. And then just act like the rest of it is all yours. And I've had people reach out to me and say, do I have permission to do this? And I was like, yeah, I'm thrilled for you to present at some kind of conference or whatever. Or use something that I developed as part of getting your board certification. I'm thrilled about all that kind of stuff. I mean, really, just email me just so I know that you're using my stuff and that I know that I'm doing a good job by you. Okay, I'm going to shut up now because I've talked for too long. Gosh, 40 minutes of onboarding video.